All right, welcome to Live Saga TV. Guys, we are live and into the political space, so you're free to come here. I know that some people come here with emotions and they pour down on me, but you are welcome anyways. What matters is that your views will be with me and your time will also be here. So I appreciate your presence all the time, all the time. So, of course, after yesterday's hula baloo, more hula baloos are coming on, okay? More hula baloos are coming on, and that's why you can see in the title what is there. I'm giving you time to log in because we are supposed to start at 7:15, but I knew some people would be watching news, and I had to hesitate a little bit just to give you time to frame up and be ready for the kick up on live stream. So welcome and feel at home. Regardless of the country you're coming from, I am from Kenya, Prissy for you. It is 7:32 p.m. in the evening. All right. So welcome in the house. Welcome so much, and feel free. As we are doing the live stream, we are also preparing our supper, guys. So be ready for anything. Now, my discussion surrounds the UDA and ODM pull. So the leaders have finally been pulled aside by the by the MPs and senators because they are saying they have the power. They have the power, and they can decide to do anything to the president currently. I really appreciate you people. Yesterday you gave me a pull-up of 600 and something views, and I don't take that for granted. It's such a massive step from the 100s, 200s, 300s, and to 600. So guys, I expect you to pull up for me again today as we go down to the forthcoming impeachment. Will it be a successful impeachment or will it be aborted? Of course, all of you know that currently the House is on fire, Parliament is on fire. Now, it's very unfortunate that sometimes the MPs don't come handy for us. When we actually need them, they have been always away from our concerns. Now, if you look around the internet, or rather online, you realize that today, or rather since Ruto actually rattled on the MPs, they have come up to attack him and reveal a lot of secrets we never knew. The aspect of 20 million, 2 million, 50 million in parliament has come out. The fact that they were passing the bill, they were passing a lot of things in his favor have also come out. Now I'll be playing videos just soon to see what people are saying. Meanwhile, KURIA is also up to the task and is pulling the neck, or rather the leg of the president. When he walked out from parliament, we thought it's just a common concept, but it looks that it was a different aspect. It was actually different. He did it to save his name, or rather his face. All right, guys. So let me play one video here as I proceed with my analysis. Let's be set for it, okay? So we are beginning with something vital here. And because sometimes I use people's channels to actually get this aspect, sometimes I get to log into specific, news lines. So let's listen at this and see what is cooking right there, okay? And this is what is cooking right now, okay? This is what is cooking.
We are now going to exercise our teeth. We are now going to bite. And Honorable Speaker, as I speak, there is a table essential motion. It is before you, Honorable Speaker. It's coming. We must now take our rightful position as a National Assembly. Now in this video, I want us to look into.
So, of course, you can see Jack WAMBOKA is actually saying that they are ready to bite. They are ready to bite. And from analysis of different people, including David Wafula, the Newsline, and all that, you've seen clearly that Jack WAMBOKA yesterday spoke in Parliament, and he said they are ready to bite, okay? And he went further to say some more stuff. Let's just check here. Let's check somewhere else.
Gave us a finance bill. That was very popular. We passed it for him. This president gave us a housing levy. We passed it for him. This president has asked us to pass SHA. We sat here until 10 p.m. Passed it for him. What have we done for him? What has this parliament not done for president that he now?
Now, guys, you have seen citizens complaining over SHA. They have complained over so many things, and many of the MPs were just going in parliament and making sure that the bills pass, all right? And it was not a big idea for the MPs. For them, it was about passing, making sure that the government is having the day. And of course, during that time, rumors had to spread all over the place about the parliament actually standing for some stuff and being unfavorable to the citizens and passing things that are not worth. Now, looking into 2024, that was the commonest aspect that came out in capitals, and people really talked about a lot of stuff here and there. All right, so up to now, there are still rumors about one thing or the other, and no one has clear information. But now, finally, the MPs have exposed their mediocrity. They have expressed their corrupt nature. As they point fingers back to the president, they are also exposing how corrupt they are. Because, you see how the kettle and the pot analogy, where the kettle says the pot is dirty, while the pot says the kettle is dirty. So which one is black? Okay. That is the current analogy that is passing across in Kenya. And it's funny because as far as they thought they were sanitizing themselves, yesterday I talked about the sanitization aspect, where the president actually thought by taking the parliament by its horns and indicating it's the corrupt, most corrupt, full of extortion and bribery, he was actually saving his skin. And he mentioned the 150 million. Talk of the money exchange in this country. As many people suffer and they actually wallow in poverty, there are those who find it so easy to spend money and even invest. And they talk about they are investing their own money. I've talked about this very many times, and sometimes people are annoyed about it. Slikista is saying you talk about politics. Of course, my channel, Life Saga TV, is more about politics and maybe mother stories, documentaries, and such. Okay, so Slikista, this channel is particularly for political analysis, unlike the others which are into social analysis on other matters. Here we are into politics. Welcome on board, and you can like the video for me. Okay, and you can also participate and chat in relation to the topic I'm referring to if you are aware of what is going on. But you've seen clearly the parliament is on fire and people are trying to save their skin so far. Okay, yeah, so what annoys Kenyans is that during the time that Kenyans really needed the MPs, and during the time Kenyans complain about the prices of goods, the MPs don't come handy for that. When you are complaining about salaries, they don't come handy in that. But now that they have been attacked and exposed, and remember, the one thing that makes them so annoyed is that their reputation goes down. Another one is that they value that they came through a vote, and some of them have stood so much for the current government, believing that it will cover them up and allow them to continue squandering, the public resources. However, it turns out that so far they may not have such a space. Okay. Silkista says, "Oh, I see. Sorry, I'm not interested. Politics is headache." Nothing will change at the end of however much we talk. Okay, it may not change, but talking about it, I think, heals. It's like you have headache and you keep quiet about it, but when you take some some taps, sometimes it becomes interesting. Okay, but you can link, you can come in from my other channels, like Edutainment for Us. Of course, you can see all of them are pinned there. You can check on one of my channels. Maybe the topics I talk about are interesting than this one here. But no worries, even logging in for 1 minute or two matters to me. So Silkista, you can log into Edutainment for Us. You can watch my other videos over there. Silkista, check on my Edutainment for Us channel. I think I've pinned it right here. So you can check on that and you'll see my social discussions right there, away from political aspects. I talk about politics not because it will change anything, but because it just makes me understand some things, So no problem. If you don't like it, disclaimer allows you to go to my other channel and watch it, because I don't only talk about politics. On the other channel, I talk about social matters. Yeah. Okay, so you can check on Edutainment for Us TV. Edutainment for Us TV focuses on education and social matters, where we just talk about free matters of social, and it also has membership packages where we want to have specific things that members want. Okay, so thank you for coming here, no problem. It's always good to see what you like. Okay, but I still welcome those who are coming to the house. Be free. Yesterday we had a very high watchship, or rather the members who are watching were so many. So of course the impeachment aspect is coming in, the motion that Jack WAMBOKA is saying is ready. Okay, so let's watch this and see what they are talking about, the more that they're talking about. Okay,
Ask to come and baptize us. What? Let it do its job. No, on a personal note, I don't
okay, so let's also go to what was said in Parliament. Actually, I didn't show this yesterday, but I have to show it in this analysis here. Okay, so there's a commercial break here that is affecting my presentation, but let's listen to this.
by none other than the Speaker himself. Mr. Speaker, this House has done well. As a national is chaired by none other than the Speaker himself. Mr. Speaker, this House has done well. As a National Assembly, we've risen to the occasion when we called out on Shah during Adani. Now the committee on PAC has done very well with the e-citizen, and my guess is good, because I think that is where the rage is coming from. They have come out to unmask the culprits of e-citizen and how money is being stolen. Honorable Speaker, this House, this floor impeached a minister of government, Honorable Mithika Linturi. We done well, Honorable Speaker, as a parliament. It is wrong, Honorable Speaker, for President to say he's fed on raw intelligence, Honorable Speaker, and moves to make such accusations against us. Honorable Speaker, in law, and you know better than me, anybody who becomes aware of a crime and keeps quiet of it is an accomplice. As we speak, the Honorable President is an accomplice.
All right.
Why was he giving the 10 million shillings?
Okay, so typically, somebody had to shout out the giving out of 10 million Kenyan shillings. And there was accusations about 20 million, 50 million. So they are now coming out to uncover themselves. I always use this proverb from my locality. It says that hide the hyena, but as far as you'll hide the hyena, when it comes out later, when the hunter has gone, it will actually consume you. All right? So they were hiding themselves. And remember, at some point, Rigathi Gachagua indicated that these MPs are hiding the president. But when the president will actually attack them, they'll have to come out in large numbers, and they'll have to leave him in a quagmire. All right? So let's look at this. Let's rewind. Let's just rewind and read through what Gachagua said at once. And then we'll be going to Moses Kuria to establish some tickets here and there. All right? So, of course, Rigathi Gachagua said something once over the same matter. But before even we look at Gachagua, I want you to understand one thing. One of the people that has been very supportive to the president, even during the Sabasaba, and when Otieno Kajwang or Ojwang actually was killed, was Kimani Ichung'wah. So Kimani Ichung'wah actually came out with some serious accusations against Gachagua. And during that time, it was like, indeed, Gachagua did not deserve to stand and speak. And that was the third time they threatened to arrest him, but they never did arrest. In fact, even the arrest they have purported on Thursday morning, some people are saying it will not happen, and there are serious reasons as to why. Of course, Gachagua went ahead to say that there are some things that he might reveal. Javil Ajit, hi. Javil Ajit, welcome to the house, and you can like the video, guys. Politics is such a thing that it's a headache indeed, just as Silkista has said. But sometimes I find peace in just talking about what is happening and understanding the in-depth aspects about it. And so that one day I'll be saying, okay, these people are saying this and they did this, okay? So Javi Ajit, welcome to the house, like the video. And let's go to hear what Kimani Ichung'wah has to say here. So Kimani Ichung'wah in Parliament yesterday, I didn't point out at him because I was sparing that for today. I only showed Millie Ojambo, Ocheng, and other people. So today, let's listen at what Moses Kuria is saying. And remember, Moses Kuria is one person that has invested around 150 million in a bank. And when he invested, and he had the president talking about the same amount, he was like, okay, you're attacking me. This is the money that I took as a loan. I'm like, okay, so are these people allowed to take us big money? 150 million. How do you lend one person 150 million to invest? And yet, a simple teacher whom they call should be actually willing to do a job in Kenya free of, do it as a calling, cannot afford a loan of 2 million. They cannot afford it. They cannot. A lot of teachers can only afford a loan of maybe 1.5 million, but not 2 million. But here, an MP or a political leader can afford a loan of 150 million. For them, it's not a loan, it's a grant. How ironical situations are. So now Kimani Ichung'wah has turned to actually respond to the president and his close ally, Raila. And they are feeling that Raila and Ruto have turned against them because they think they now own the government. So let's listen at him again.
We have older members like the Honorable Keinan, the father of the house, who has been here for a long time, and yourself, Honorable Speaker. When this house is condemned, you are condemned. The Honorable Keinan is being condemned. The Honorable Njeri and Joses here are being condemned. Honorable Speaker, if there are people who have suffered, I am among those people who have suffered immensely from this condemnation. I was a sponsor of that bill the Honorable Murugara was speaking about as leader of the majority. I saw yesterday when figures of 150 million shillings were mentioned that relate to the Senate. There are people who went on social media to say, oh, that is the 150 million Kimani Ichung'wah used to purchase I don't know what where. Honorable Speaker. No, this time they didn't mention a chopper. They were mentioning shares I invested in a bank. But I have invested an investment I have made, Honorable Speaker, from money I have borrowed from our own parliamentary circle and my other circle.
Parliamentary circles have 150 million they can give one person, okay? And some other circles that Kimani Ichung'wah did not mention. Now, guys, if there is one person that is celebrating all this, let me just go and check some other receipts elsewhere before I come back to this. Hey, okay. So this is quite funny. Gloves off now for Kimani Ichung'wah. Remember during the Sabasaba time how Kimani Ichung'wah came up with a story of his parents being attacked and the fact that he accused Gachagua and he was saying that Gachagua needs to be arrested. Now, who is laughing now? So Gachagua is actually laughing as he comes back awaiting his arrest. Now, I wonder if Murkomen will still stand to arrest him, okay? Now, of course, Junet was trying to cool the tempers, telling everybody to just let them speak, let them have the say as they have the way. I don't know whether he was indirectly inferring to the fact that they'll continue stealing as, as the president speaks and his actually close ally currently, who is that is Raila. So let's check on what Gachagua once said. There is something Gachagua once said. I'm checking for the receipt somewhere. What he said once. He is laughing now, okay? Here it is. Here it is. Yeah, so it's like a prophecy that has come to pass. A lot of things that Gachagua said, and they have come to pass. Not that I'm standing with him or anything, but I'm just trying to give a commentary. Now let's listen to this, guys. If you remember, history does not forget.
Simuganga, mimi, I'm not a seer. those MPs of William Ruto hawa wanamfuata pale, William Ruto atabaki peke yake, watatoroka kwake, lakini by the time wanakuja kwa raia watakuwa wameharibu.
Hey, how true this is, I know not. How true this is. Now it has come to pass, okay? It has come to pass. Now I want us to go into something else. Of course, there are allegations also that are coming out that Matiang is, a secret state house pawn. How true this is, I know not. Again, sometimes politics have propaganda. Politics have a lot of propaganda. And as far as sometimes we may think that maybe some truth are there, they may not be wholly true. So the fact that they are talking about Matiang being a project, okay, it's something that is quite surprising. Of course, all of us are expecting currently, up to now, we are expecting that we'll be seeing Matiang on the ballot paper. We'll be seeing that is maybe Gachagua. If he is cleared, then we'll be seeing Ruto on the ballot papers. We will be seeing Kalonzo Musyoka on ballot papers, okay? Depending on how they'll agree as the opposition. Mother Karua was also declaring candidature, okay? Now, when we look at the politics, ladies and gentlemen, what we see is that now we have propagandas maybe or reality about what is coming up. Like now, there was an allegation, yeah? There was an allegation by a close ally to Matiang who came up and said that he is actually a project. He came up to say that. Let me just check for the receipts and play to you. I don't know whether it will come out.
My work is easy because I use ClickUp. Here's how I keep
The
track of all my
advertisements
tasks.
here.
I start by brain dumping everything I need to get done in a list view. Click the subscribe button so that their bid depends project. What is in it proceeds here. My views were provoked and I have noted that my statement made.
So of course, guys, Ndegwa Njiru is one of the people who was heard saying that Matiang is a project. Okay? We do not understand why he had to come up with that statement. But if you check on Kameme TV, he was found indicating that that Matiang is a project. How true is this? Okay. Now later on, after he saw a lot of people responding to it, he had to write a message. And I want you to look at this message here. I want you to look at this message. If you have missed it out, here it is. Okay, I'm preparing vegetables as I do my thing here. So you can actually see this. Njiru adds, I have noted that my statement made at Kameme TV this morning has caused unnecessary alarm, and the same has been construed to mean that the united opposition is no longer united. My views were provoked and influenced by a number of political statements that have been issued by some leaders hailing from the Bagusi. I haven't spoken to our brother Fred Matiang, and he has confidentiality confined in me that he is firmly in opposition. Okay? Therefore, the spirit of unity. Okay. Therefore, the spirit of unity and our resolve to have the one term still reigns. Okay? So that is Njiru. Of course, you've heard Njiru speaking most of the times for Matiang. Now, when he comes up on Kameme FM and says that Matiang is a project, is he being sent? Is he speaking for himself? Does he now lose trust in Matiang? Or why did he come up with such a shocking revelation? It was a shocking revelation to many, and that is why they are still asking questions. until he clarifies everything, okay? Now, it is, it is humiliating that a lot of UDA members and ODM members are so aggrieved. But the reality is that to the common citizen, we cannot feel for them, because so many times we've needed them. When the prices of products are high, we have needed them. When the bills are being passed, we have needed them. When SHA was being passed, we needed them. When the Adani question came in place, we needed them. But when you listen to them in parliament, they were not speaking for the people. Instead, they were speaking for themselves. And now these accusations about money that has been actually exchanged is something very shocking, because at first they were saying they are being accused falsely. But it has come out that it was not a false accusation at all, you know. It was not false accusation, okay? Let me check for other receipts so that I can say something here, okay?
We want to, with one issue. Osoro.
So let's listen to Osoro. Osoro has dropped a bombshell again.
And this is what Osoro actually thinks, what devolution ought to have been. Mr. Speaker, we want to tell them, and I say this with tremendous respect, that kwa ground vitu ni different. That what people think devolution ought to have been or should be is not what it is. There is nothing that is working on the ground as far as devolution is concerned, Honorable Speaker. And that is why, in any case, Honorable Speaker, Article 96 should actually be implemented the more. We cannot say that you want the county assembly members be left with the responsibility of oversighting governors. Honorable Speaker, a governor that controls 13 billion shillings, a county governor that controls 13 billion shillings cannot be oversighted by an MCA who wants 80,000 shillings, and then they give them 3,000 shillings every day, Honorable Speaker, even to follow them, Honorable Speaker. And that is where we are saying, Honorable Speaker, that we must be very particular, Honorable Speaker. As I was saying, this House, Honorable Speaker, has been under attack from every corner. We've been attacked, Honorable Speaker, by the members, some members of the judiciary. We've been attacked by the members of the public, sometimes being threatened, Honorable Speaker, to have our houses torched, Honorable Speaker. I want to, with tremendous respect, also tell His Excellency the President. Welcome to Hot Math Skills. Build confidence from the roots up. This video
commercial break.
Actually not be happening. Today, as we are speaking, Honorable Speaker, people are already complaining about KERA. They want the KERA funds to be reverted to the counties. They want NGCDF to go. But, Honorable Speaker, you will need a microscope to see what governors or county governments are doing, Honorable Speaker, because there is nothing that is being done, Honorable Speaker.
So it's funny how things work. When the president attacks the senators now come out and attack the governors. Governors attack the MCAs and indicate that it's the MCAs who are most corrupt. Now, it clearly comes out that everybody here in parliament is corrupt. And of course, that is why some people don't want to listen to this discussion anymore. Because it's like something deep-rooted in our system and it cannot be plucked out. It just makes me laugh, because I wonder, however much we talk about it, how safe are we? How are we going to rescue the nation? Is there any way we are going to rescue anything here? Okay. Is there any way? There is no possibility of salvaging anything. Maybe. But 15 MPs have been actually named to have taken the 10 million bribe. Okay. Let me just check on this and see. Of course,
welcome, lady. 100%. Yeah. Welcome. Going forward, si tunataka tukubaliane, si we are one team. Yes, that a few that these are the committee members of parliament. Each. Do you, for example, know that a few members of your committee collected 10 million shillings so that you could pass that law on anti-money laundering. Did you get the money? So
Listen again. Listen to this. Listen to this again.
Do you, for example, know that a few members of your committee collected 10 million shillings so that you could pass that law on anti-money laundering? Did you get the money?
Hey, that is very critical.
You could pass that law on that a few members of your committee collected 10 million shillings so that you could pass that law on anti-money laundering. Did you get the money?
So, guys, who are these members of the committee that collected some money so that they could pass anti-money laundering policy? Now we can see some names here. Of course, UDA party, I'm seeing Gladys Bess, Francis Kajwang, I'm seeing Otiende, I'm seeing Mashira Mshachi, I'm seeing Mikali Joho, I'm seeing Magoka, I'm seeing another name coming up, Maslin Farah, Onyigo, Silvasan, Wetangula, Mashagi, Kapchumba, Adan Duale, Sial Amina, Saleka, Habde. So those are the names that have been actually put on the spotlight, guys. Okay? So if you heard what the president said, and you can go back to my video and actually listen. These are shenanigans that happen around us. Of course, I'm going to make a short on this, okay? Quite funny. Yeah, and so many other names have been mentioned, guys. Now, away from that, let's come to a different thing. Now, it's clear that the Sifuna Raila fallout has hit on a dead ground, okay? It has hit on a dead ground. Because now, if the entire parliament is against Raila, what do you think people are going to say about the entire thing? Maybe I'll be coming to the other one, but Rigathi will be the one to celebrate, actually, if WAMBOKA Jack is serious about taking that proposal to impeach the president. And currently, if indeed that impeachment proposal goes ahead, you are quite sure that everybody is going to impeach him because they have now felt his wrath. They have felt his wrath. Because if he came out to give that statement about the 10 million bribe, something that Kenyans did not expect would actually be coming out, but it has finally come out. Yeah. Now, Eden Duale is one of the people who sometimes is reckless about his statements. He does not even think about what he's saying. Among the statement that he gave is indicating that 2027 will be like 207. Now, he did not come out to clarify what he means by that. 207 was one of the deadly years. Actually, a lot of people died. And that is a serious statement that if anything happens in 2027, then he'll be questioned for whatever he said. Okay? Because 207 had bloodshed. In fact, I did for another reaction here. And I said clearly that Edwin Duale did not think when he was giving that statement. And I remember somebody really abused me on the channel, and I said it's okay because after all, I'm saying the truth, the real truth about his statement and what it meant. When he says that all regions are equal, is that true? Not really. Because in Kenya, people are counted based on votes. Yeah? That is why, at some point, Rigathi Gachagua came up with the aspect of shares. Something that we are really praying that will stop existing in Kenya at all. that people will look at our country in a different way, whereby you are patriotic, and when you become a leader, you actually say the truth. Now, I liked the statement of the president when he said that leaders are chosen by so many people who wake up in the morning, and they are supposed to do the right thing. But then, the problem is that as he says that, what does he do as an individual? Does he really also respect leadership and do what is expected? That is why currently, even if you tell somebody about going for 2 terms, unless they are direct beneficiaries of the corrupt system that is actually nourishing in Kenya, or unless they are closely beneficiaries of favoritism and all the vices that we have seen around. Because these are some of the vices we've seen. You've seen an institution, people walking in, they finished college the other day, they get employment, while those who finished 10 years ago are left jobless. We see some areas being developed more than others, and others are being left isolated just because they are not maybe into the government. Now currently there is a war about those. Yanakazana na niko katikati ya video. So guys, I handle something else out here. Let me handle something out here before I... So actually I was a bit of in doing the live stream, and I was called outside because I do some business right here. And that's why you could see there was disconnection. So let's turn back to our live stream, guys. And you'll bear with me because business sometimes, even if you are called and you don't, the economy is harsh. So I had to stop from the live stream and go sell some timber before I can proceed. So you bear with me, guys. Okay. So let's get to the house and continue with our live stream because business is business, guys. Okay. Okay. All right. So sometimes our offices are multitasking. So I had to go and deal with the customers and what they wanted before I can proceed. And here we are back to the center. All right. So of course we have seen the drama in Parliament that much. And I want us to go to KURIA. Moses KURIA had some message to deliver. He came out for once after a long moment of having resigned. And we saw him on Citizen TV. Now we need to analyze his responses on Citizen. This is what's here for you, guys. Can you believe it? Let's listen to him partly and analyze what he's saying right here. I don't know whether is this connected still? No. Let me connect. All right.
They told me it is your decision, but it's unfortunate. Yes.
Did you resign or are you fired?
I resigned.
Why?
I resigned one day after Sabasaba, Sam. And I resigned because Sabasaba shattered me. Totally. I was actually outside the country and I was on a flight coming. And I was even on the flight because we had internet on the flight. I was coordinating on WhatsApp.
Yeah.
I would get information from some wonderful people in Ruiro, Dik and all these places, and then I would coordinate with security agencies. And then that day I remember, I think some places like Ruiro, like Dika, like Kiserian, some places I really used my access in government that time to stop it. Then ahead of all that mayhem, I am known to a lot of business people, the people who sell supermarkets or that kind of thing. So I really talked to them and I really felt them. And by the way, you look at these things as, for example, Maguna supermarket. Are you aware that the things which are inside there are not necessarily Magunas? They somebody who has taken a stock on what we call consignment to be sold.
Right.
So the impact was so huge. So the following day, I asked people in both sides. I talked to people in the opposition. I asked them, what is this? It is said that it is you people who are organizing the mayhem. Why organize violence against our own people? They told me it is not me, it is government. And then I talked to people in government, in all the levels, including the president himself. I told them, Mr. President, the opposition people are claiming that it is government people who are doing all this destruction. And the president almost took the Bible. Then I asked myself, where am I? Is it government which is right, or is it opposition which is right? And I found myself in that unfortunate situation. I don't know who to believe. Yeah? I don't know. I said, okay.
Guys, do you now understand why Moses Kuria had to walk away from government? Now, looking at the current situation where the president and the main opposition that was there are actually saying, what can you believe? What can you actually believe in Kenya? It seems there is a lot of mayhem, indeed, and shenanigans that happen all over the country. Okay? So sometimes people want to stand on the safe ground and do what they have to do, and they don't care what will happen. And I saw this during the Sabasaba. I think I came out here clearly saying that as far as they are banning Maguna, most of the business people, most times, they collaborate with politicians in their businesses. And so if they attack a business, they may not know. Large businesses are not fully owned by one individual. Currently, even if you want to thrive in business, doing alone is a challenge. I do some businesses here and there, and when you are doing alone, it becomes a problem because sometimes you don't have capital. There are times you don't have the networks to get the products. So the reality is that for you to actually be successful in business in Kenya, you need a hand. You need other people to actually revamp your business, maybe in terms of securing some licenses, in terms of actually maybe securing stock, And as you've heard, Moses Kuria has indicated clearly that Maguna was not just owned by the one person. I remember when the Maguna was burned down in Nyeri, people were jumping up and down and saying, yeah, go and ask Rigathi Gachagua. And I was like, people are not reasoning. Because in Kenya, you can be from Luya, you can be from Ukambani, and you do business with somebody very far away, even in Isiolo. You don't have to do business with people from within your place. You shouldn't see a business being run by a Kikuyu and you believe wholly that that business belongs to them. Or you see a business being run by a Luo and you believe that that business is wholly Luo. Because people are serious about business. They have decided to actually come together with other people to run it. So you have heard clearly from Kuria. Kuria is indicating that he walked out of government after actually seeing what happened in Kiserian, what happened in Meru, what happened in the different parts. Of course, if you go through my videos, you'll see what happened there, because I did a lot of videos during that time indicating the losses, the damages. And so Kuria was asked more questions by in the studio, some of which really annoyed him. He was, for example, asked, because he posted a message indicating that Murkomen had done well. But now today, he came out to actually say that he still stands with the message because he believed that goons were separated from criminals, that the goons were separated from the peaceful protesters. All of us know for real that that is not what happened, because we saw that indeed goons were attacking shops and they were not dealt with, whereas we had people who were peaceful demonstrators and they suffered at the end of the day. So it has actually, I just think that Moses Kuria is under siege and there is something he's not telling us, okay? Let's listen more to what else he said in the video during the interview with Sami.
Let me just sit on that pedestal whereby I can be able to see things much more clear, because in any case, that Magunas, that county supermarket in Muranga, does it matter whether it is Wamonyoro people or government people who are burning the supermarket? It wouldn't matter less for those people. Okay. So I said, look, there comes a time when some of us, have to start somewhere where really you can be able to answer every question that your conscience asks you.
Let's take a look at a post you released on X on the 7th of July. This was on the day of Sabasaba. You wrote that no Gen Z died today, only criminal looters. Well done, keep Murkomen, ensure zero Gen Z and maximum criminal fatalities.
You see,
that's the same day you met the president.
You see, no, the following day. You see the information was flowing fast and furious.
Yeah.
Information was flying fast and furious. And some of the cases, you can imagine people storming a police station. Cannot be Gen Zs. Whatever happened in Kikuyu and Dagoretti and all that.
So you call total fatalities of...
What I believe,
yeah,
is that kind of organized something, it is easy to look at it from the fatalities point of view. But it is also important that you look at it from the point of view of the business owners. Yeah? And is it wrong to separate criminals from peaceful protesters? But is there something logically wrong?
You are an advisor.
Yeah? Is there something logically wrong from saying this one is a criminal and this one is a by the way, I start with that. If you can be able to even have a metal detector, that this is a genuine protester whose rights are enshrined and protected under the Constitution, fine. But people who go to maim, people who go to destroy property, do you know how much do you know the pain of those people and their business? Do you know, forget about their businesses. Look at it from the jobs. Aren't the human rights of those people who lost jobs in Moya there to be able to look at things more clearly?
Okay, guys, let's talk about this, because our interest is not to listen to the discussion. Those interviews, I'm sure people have them. To the entire debate, actually, I listened to the entire debate and how KURIA was actually arguing out. Okay, so he almost turned chaotic on Sam, because Sam was actually hitting him below the belly. Okay.
And I'm no exception. I'm asking that question because Moses, you sacrificed your political party. No, I did not sacrifice. What did you do? No, I did not sacrifice. We are just a member of the Kenya Kwanza coalition.
So that decision that was taken, I think it was late 2022 or early 2023. What was it?
No, we were having that suggestion, and members refused.
Suggestion to
fold the party. Do you remember that time there was all this hurabaro about folding parties? Musalia folded his party. Consensus around BBI.
So far, KURIA came out saying that even Rigathi Gachagua is allowed to go on with the political aspect that he wants, but all that he does not want is that he's schooling, or rather dictating, the rest of the Murima people. And that is what makes him different, have a different ideology from what Rigathi actually holds. Now, looking at the entire analysis of KURIA's interview with Sam, you actually realize that he seems to have lost it in one way or the other, which means that he may not tell us clearly, but even though he's not accepting that he was fired, and he says from his documents that he resigned, he himself resigned. And you can see he said he's resigning to go to business. Annabelle. Okay, so he says that he's resigned to go to business. what I see here is a clear member that had put some of his products in Maguna, possibly Muranga, and some of the businesses that were touched down because they were being touched down in faith that they are actually indirectly attacking Rigathi Gachagua and they'll make him be blamed for whatever happened. But we came to see some videos later on, and what had happened, it was clear that some of the people who were touching them down were goons hired by whichever part, whether it's the government or the opposition. All right? Can you have this, you people? Have that. Okay? So if you listen to the conversation by KURIA and go back to history for those who are very keen about politics, you understand here he was pained about the loss of business aspects. And that's why he had to go to the president and ask questions about why this has happened and this has happened. Now, why did he have to come for the interview when things are running down in the parliament? Of course, all of us understand that currently the parliament is on fire, with ODM and some of the Kenya Kwanza members actually falling out on a dead end with the Raila and Ruto out of the statement that were offered at Karen. And I saw this coming because that meeting, for once, Raila and Ruto came out accusing the senators and down to the MPs and also laying claims on the money that had been bribed in parliament. It is pathetic for citizens, it's quite pathetic because most times citizens have cried. Some people don't have food on their table. Some people don't have fees for their kids. Some people don't have money even to travel from one place to another. They have to walk on foot. They don't have fertilizer for their farms. They don't have seeds for their farms. And they don't have even money to actually begin constructions or finish up projects. Some people don't have jobs up to now. They are jobless and roaming out there. Insecurity has become a major problem in the country because actually the economy has run down. However, now with these accusations running in parliament, what does it mean for the common citizen? Moses Kuria has come out and talked at this moment. What does it mean? Is he trying to save his skin? Of course, we heard when he stepped down some saying that he's going to disrupt Gachagua and maybe vie for the presidential seat so that he can divide votes in the Mrima. All that we are still waiting to see. So let's hear something more.
Maybe some of this, maybe by that time around, maybe this broadcast will not have happened. Because this is just another artificial something to make something together. And I'm hearing some people talk about 1 term, 2 term. Yeah? Can we have the long-term movement? Long-term movement.
Long-term movement.
Yeah? So what people who are saying, I don't care, even that 1 term will come to an end. Even the 2 terms will come to an end. Can we just stand with Kenya long-term? Whereby we can be able to predict, with some certainty, what is going to happen within our lifetime. And what is going to happen even when we are not on this earth.
At the same time, like you're saying, with this 1 term and 2 term, on this other end, like we see Kipchumba Murkomen is preparing to receive Rigathi Gachagua by talking to the security agencies to be ready just in case of chaos. And if that happens, there will be an arrest. What do you see with the politics after impeachment of Rigathi Gachagua, where we are?
Well, let me give some historical perspective. Because I'm in the studio with you, with Yvonne, with so many people talking about Rigathi Gachagua. When we were serving the government, and I pointed out the mistakes of Rigathi Gachagua, which I will still tell you.
Yeah, so Kuria did not answer the question directly. He came back to history and was trying to prove why Rigathi was actually impeached. All right? And out of that, he was actually, he later said that Rigathi is free to play. But then, tribalism has a date. Let's listen to this.
Even me, maybe there's a time I could have been accused of tribalism and all that. Yep. Granted, but every angel has a past and every sinner has a future. So there comes a time when you see this one cannot continue selling. Yeah, there comes a time when you stop that one and you say, no, this one is not it's not tenable anymore. And for me, politics that revolves around tribe has got no space in this country. Of course, I've got other problems with him, like he's trying now to come up with this dictatorship within my region, where you say, if you're not with the DCP, you are Kasongo, you are whatever. So
Yeah, so Kuria actually feels to be bitter because he is out of government and he's not with the opposition. Is he coming up with his own party? He's saying a long-term solution. Can Kenya really have a long-term solution to its problems? We have serious problems. Away from illiteracy, diseases, we have problems of corruption, impunity. Now we have this problem of violence that has been going on, abductions. And I'm seeing now, if this conflict is going to continue between the president and the parliaments, we are going to see more secrets being poured out. Formerly, when we were hearing these secrets being brought out by Gachagua alone, we thought that he's crazy. But currently now the MPs, I did not expect a situation whereby in Kenya we could have senators standing in government to accuse each other and point fingers. I did not expect a situation whereby Junet or Millie Jambo or Kimani Ichung'wah or any other person would stand in parliament and raise a finger, point a finger to the president or some other member, or point out that they had money somewhere to pass a law. This is unexpected but it's finally happening in Kenya. What image are we placing for Kenyans? Because at the end of the day, when they come out, they have testified now. We have seen a situation that was unexpected, a satire, whereby now the parliament has people coming out to testify and point fingers against each other. When Rigathi was speaking, people are looking at it as if he's crazy or he's just bitter. And every time I remained consistently I kept saying that when you see a crocodile coming out of water and saying when you see what coming out of water and telling you that crocodile is sick, do not doubt the story. Okay? So I kept saying here that when Rigathi comes out and says some things about the parliament, Gloria came out the other day, said some things. We saw the other day Wamchomba coming out and saying some things. We have seen Sifuna coming out and pointing some things. Let's not take it for granted. They are actually now exposing their dirty linen to the public. They are exposing their dirty linen in public. Some things that we could hear from Maverick, some things that we had heard from Rigathi Gachagua, some things that we had heard on news, and we thought it is just by coincidence. We thought they were false accusations. Now the parliament itself, they are coming out and pointing fingers and revealing what happened. And I'm sure if the war will continue, they will come out and reveal the most shocking information to Kenyans. And it is so annoying, irritating to realize that while a lot of people are suffering in Kenya, while they are taking a lot of dates from outside, the reality is that all they are doing, they are squandering that money. The other day I talked, I think I was doing some reaction and said that Kenya has a lot of resources, just like the Gen Zs in Kakamega during the Youth International Day revealed. And somebody was quite annoyed here, and they were saying, Kenya does not have money. And I insisted, Kenya has money. Kenya does not have money. And I said, Kenya has money, only if it is used to the right purposes. If only money in Kenya is used rightfully, we have a lot of money. Because if you hear that every year a governor is given how many billions to control, can you actually tell me one governor that has used all that money to develop their county? Tell me. Tell me if there is any county in Kenya where the governor has fully used those billions they are given yearly to just develop a county. If we are able to say that and account for that, then my heart will be at peace, because I'll know that we have indeed elected these people to go and do what is right. Now you see why Gen Z's protest in 2024 was rightful. You realize that even this year Sabasaba was rightful, even though I don't advocate for violence. I don't advocate for situations whereby people are dying on the streets. But then all those movements were rightful because they were actually proving a point about Kenya. The fact that we are not doing the right thing. All right? So let's look at something else, because KURIA Moses Kuria has actually pointed out so many gaps in government.
What's your sample size? I'm a scientist and I'm a statistician. What's your, if you want me to complete the scientific study, I can go. And you can even commission one here for you as citizen. What's your sample size? Citizen team. Yeah. My friend, I'm a politician, or I have been allowed politics.
No doubt, you're a politician.
I have been in presidential campaign since Matiba, Marlborough House in 1992. 1997 with Kibaki, 02 with Kibaki, 07 with Kibaki, 13 with Uhuru, 17 with Uhuru Kenyatta, 22 with William Ruto. I am not one to see mirages. I want to have blood for the.
Do you have a sample size?
Yeah.
Do you have a sample size?
No, it's expansive, and I'm telling you, there's a team that is
That's
working
not
on
statistics.
Well, I am not. Do you know? I can give you the number of Angela Abito if you want to convert me to an opinion poll company. I am a politician who has got my pulse on the
research.
No, yes, but you can't ask me about sample size for my. I did not say that. I went there and I said.
Hey, this turned into a funny scenario, a very funny scenario, okay? A very funny scenario. Hey.
I have another communication to make extortion.
You have a dream.
Let's skip this commercial
Access education.
before we proceed.
Groundbreaking research launched.
Made against sentence merit the most urgent and deliberate action and intervention. Honorable Senators, to fight corruption requires a systematic and integrated approach in which all organs of the government collaborate and cooperate to the extent of their respective spheres. To this end, while there exist constitutional and statutory agencies for preventing, detecting, and prosecuting corrupt acts, and while the judiciary adjudicates on such matters, the legislature too has robust mechanisms for addressing the vice. Now, honorable senators, as you are aware, the Parliamentary Powers and Privileges Act, Cap 6 of the laws of Kenya, has an elaborate framework for Parliament to deal with errant legislators. Section 15, subsection 5 of this Act mandates the Committee of Powers and Privileges, which is chaired by the Speaker, either of its own motion, called 217 of the Constitution, and exercise on the Senate, while the Senate will continue to discharge faithfully and without fear or favor. Now, honorable senators, let me conclude by making an impassioned plea to the executive, other agencies of government, county governments, and other persons that it is incumbent on all of us to protect the institution of the legislature, which is the cornerstone of democracy. Holding the legislature to account and requiring the highest standards of integrity is laudable.
Okay, so at the end of the day, the Speaker King is saying that they have powers to summon the president and actually have him mention all the actions of extortion clearly so that they deal with those who have been engaged. Okay? Now we are waiting for that to happen. We are waiting for that to happen. But I'm telling you, the reality is that what these people have eaten is too much. They have eaten too much until the owner has noticed. They have eaten too much until the owner has noticed. And that is why we are seeing even the international bodies are turning against Kenya. Trump is turning against Kenyans. Tanzania has turned against Kenyans and everybody else. So if we are not careful, we may not have a face. We may not have a face and we may not have where to run to. We may just actually have to remain and struggle within our boundaries. So if this continues in Kenya, we are in danger because we will become an isolated land. This is why I've always been against the borrowing aspect where we keep borrowing money, but we don't see where it goes. It only goes to few pockets and people are able to own jets and fly around, have luxurious life, have their children living the best while some families sleep hungry. We have civil servants who cannot afford a holiday like myself. We cannot afford a loan of worth 2 million, but members of parliament are affording 150 million loan, and in fact it's a grant whereby they can simply take their money to the bank and buy shares. Whereas even for us, when we hear those shares, they look like history or a story. We cannot even go to buy shares in companies. You can hear clearly from KURIA that some of the parliamentaries have shares in, they have shares in supermarkets across the country. And it is coming out clearly. Somebody, I think it was Rigathi again, who came up and said that the government is buying parastatals, things like posters or Port Authority, and so many other organizations of importance in the country. And what that communicates is that by the end of the day, while many Kenyans will be suffering and kneeling in poverty, the few politicians who have ever been in office will be rich, stinking rich, affluent, and controlling everything. And that's what happens to extinct some people. Open the door. Just for a short while. Yeah. So that is what happens in nations if things are not checked. So we are just hoping that the checks will be done and things will change in our nation for the better. That's what Life Saga TV believes in. And let's hope for the best, because we cannot give up. Even if we say politics is a headache, it is our headache because we live within the society where politics is there, and you can see it's influencing everything surrounding us. It is defining our kind of life. It's defining our economic future. It is defining even aspects to do with the foreign relations, and it defines so much about us, all right? So I really appreciate those who are here. Let me check on the computer because I can't see on the phone. Teresa, just get out of there. You will fall off. Don't open that window. Yeah, let me check those who, you know, you are going to affect my computer, Teresa. Stop that. Okay, so let's check on the channel to see maybe those people who are responding. Let me check here before I make a thumbnail and post my video. Hey, umefanya nini ndio ukakuwa na nini hivyo? You want to bring headache again? Okay, so I realized that people stopped responding. Clean, burst, power wash. Where is Mufasa? Okay, so we can end this discussion for today, but there is still a lot to talk about, guys. Of course, you've heard about today. We've discussed Adan Duale's statements and how bad they can be. We've talked about the fallout of ODM and Kenya Kwanza against the president. We've talked about Moses Kuria and the shenanigans and mayhem surrounding his politics. So what next? So let's wait and see what will be coming up next after checking on what Moses Kuria has shared in Citizen, checking on what Ruto had to say, and checking on what the MPs have had to say, all right? So will impeachment go on or not? We are waiting on that. We want to see whether the president will cut short his meeting in Japan and come back to rescue the situation, or whether if he thinks he's very innocent, again, on accusations of corruption, then he should just stay put and deal with those who are corrupt. Let them clear out everything and make our nation clean. Because why should we actually eat the headache of corruption? And beneficiaries are very few on the top. And that is why Kenya is turning into a country of haves and have-nots. You actually see clearly, even in Nairobi, that this estate is for the poor, while this estate is for the rich. You check even in Kisumu, this is a place for the poor, this is for the place for the rich. And now we have an easy way even of having maybe people who are millionaires out here to come and invest. But Kenyans themselves, some of them are suffocating under the weight of taxation, suffocating under the weight of poor education, lacking fees for their students, for their kids. Next week we are back to school and some people don't know even how they pay fees, you know. We have health matters. People are dying because they can't pay the bills in hospitals, even though SHA is being celebrated all the day. And the bill was passed, you can see clearly that it was a corrupt kind of bill. It was forcefully placed on us. The housing aspect was also forced on citizens. But from their arguments, it's clear that it was not something that was very good for the citizens. You clearly see that even the aspect of the police being directed by Murkomen to do what they did, it was not a clean deal. KURIA has said it clearly, okay? Are we turning into a government, or rather a country whereby we want to see some people kneel and die in poverty, while few people who can access the public funds can actually loot and actually enhance themselves? We've always seen this senator from Kisii talking about looting. He has always been talking about corruption, looting, you know, and all forms of corruption that have been going on. And most of the times, no one was supporting him. For once now, he can actually keep quiet as the rest point fingers at each other, as the rest try to say who received what. We remember that senator talked about that bribery that happened during the passing of laws. And some people said, now that is a lie. Now today they are complaining about the torching down. They are saying maybe citizens will think they have money. We've seen a lot of them complaining, but the complaints are just because now they have finally realized they are at risk and their reputation is at risk. But we have seen very few people talking about this kind of thing, okay? So thank you so much for being here on the channel. I appreciate, though there were some, we had some challenges here and there, but still, at least up to now, we've had a successful, live stream. And I really appreciate for those who came on board. And I hope that one day Kenya will be a sane country that will focus towards the growth at large, ensuring that we have resources distributing equitably across people, ensuring that taxation is at a minimal level where it's not suffocating citizens. Prices are at a normal level and people enjoy life, because Kenya is a good country. If only people will be sober enough and eliminate selfishness, the aspect of, favoritism, corruption, bribery, misuse of power, that aspect of selfishness, looting, and extortions. If all that can be done away with, Kenya can be a very good country and prosperous. Everybody will have a chance to grow. Unfortunately, we have an aspect of extraordinary satiation. It is more of a satiation away from greed, with some people wanting to just loot everything and leave others with zero. So otherwise, have a good night. Let's meet again tomorrow, an hour like this. Bye-bye for now.